Welcome to the Vitality Vault Podcast, your one-stop shop for health and wellness. Join us as we dive deep into the latest medical trends, break down complex health topics, and empower you to live a more vibrant life.
Hi there. I'm Dr. Bacchus Morris, a triple board certified physician who specializes in internal medicine, obesity medicine, as well as anti-aging, regenerative, and aesthetic medicine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gerald Morris, and I am a double board certified physician in internal medicine and obesity medicine with special interest in peptide therapeutics, which I got certified in.
Together, we're passionate about helping you achieve optimal health and longevity. From exercise, nutrition, we'll be bringing you the latest cutting edge in terms of weight loss and everything else in the wellness world to help you achieve a healthier you.
So our goal is to help you live your best life. So whether you're looking for weight loss strategies, longevity, just want to live a little bit better, and have these tips that you can apply to your daily life from day one, we are here to help. So come join us on this journey.
Join the doctors, voted top internist in Tucson 4 years running. So let's unlock your potential together. Welcome to the Vitality Vault Podcast with Dr. B and Dr. G.
What is up, folks? It is Dr. G and the lovely Dr. B here with another installment of AMG Vitality Vault, but today's special. We're doing something different today. So, actually, you know what? Where are my manners? Socktastic. Excuse me. I do declare. Today, I am wearing homage to my home country, Jamaica.
I didn't know the sound effects was coming
Everything is everything, man. Irie. Everything is everything. So,
yeah, man.
Today we are doing a special call, Ask the Doc, and we thank you guys so much. We have had a few questions come in since we began the podcast, and we have a few of them here, and we love the fact that you guys are getting engaged, and this is a cool one. We've never done this before, so I think it's cool to have this Ask the Doc section. So we're going to kind of go through a couple questions, not kind of go through too long, but kind of give you guys what we feel is the best option for you based on the questions, because one question asked here, I'm sure someone else has the same question too.
Absolutely.
So we can kind of riff off and go and see exactly, where this takes us on this new journey.
You may not have thought about that question, but when we answer it, you're like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. That's something that I can put into effect, in terms of lifestyle changes or whatever, however we answer that question.
And remember, if you want to get your question in, it's amgvitalityvault@gmail.com. So send your questions to that email. We'll take them down and we do a poll basically and look at what is the most common theme to questions, and then we can answer them. Or if they're pretty cool, we just bring them out and just answer them, and hopefully you guys can see the answers.
Absolutely.
So first one is from Linda R. And Linda says, hey, Dr. B, I'm in my 30s, and my mom and grandma had a rough time in menopause. Can menopause be prevented or delayed?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people have that question because everyone is afraid of menopause, right? But, unfortunately, we can't prevent it. If you live to be, past the age of at least 55, 60, you're going to run into some symptoms of menopause. Now, there are things that, and if you listen to our hormone podcast, there are things that you could do to help with things in your lifestyle. So eating the right foods, managing your stress levels, exercising, getting enough sleep, plus a lot of other things that will help to minimize the effects of these hormones just going nuts in your body, helping the levels to stay more stable and helping to prevent that kind of like drop off that some of us would have at some point, but it would be more gradual. So just helping you to experience a more gradual decrease or transition in that time of your life. So we can't entirely avoid menopause at all, but just following a healthy lifestyle can help with minimizing the effects of those hormone changes later on in life. Absolutely.
So basically, Linda, what we're saying is at your age, if you're in your 30s, the best thing you can do is to begin to manage your stress, manage your life, manage your lifestyle better now. So that way, when that change does occur, it's a lot smoother. And that being said, even when that change occurs, if you are still, thinking, hey, I do need some support, hormonal support, think about it. It might be a good option for you at that point in time. But preparing for it is the best option moving forward in life. Just knowing that, especially if your mom and your grandma had a rough time through it, you want to be on the radar and know that, hey, you know what? I'm going to start now in my 30s to keep myself healthy, keep my physical activity up, get my sleep in gear, get my stress levels down, to have an easier journey through the menopause tunnel.
And when you do experience any of those symptoms, we do have options for you, whether it be supplements or safe hormonal replacement. We can optimize your hormones at that time. So, it's just embracing that time in your life when you get there. But again, just optimizing your lifestyle habits to help you just, like, as you say, age gracefully, like going in gracefully into menopause.
Yes.
So I'll do the second question here.
Yes.
This one is from Claudia J. She says, I'm 46 years old and I have begun having hot flashes and having more fatigue. Is hormone replacement therapy a safe option for me? So
That's a loaded question.
It is. It is.
That's a heavy question.
So being 46 years old, yes, you can start seeing changes of peri or even full-on menopause. Now, are you absolutely having the hot flashes and fatigue because of hormonal symptoms? It's possible, just because of the age that is happening. But you want to make sure you get to your doctor and get the full workup and be sure that there's no other metabolic issues going on or no other chronic conditions that might be missed going on. And if it turns out that your hormone levels are low and that's the most likely cause, there are definitely safe option hormone replacement wise for you.
Yeah.
We have talked in our other podcasts about supplements that you can use, lifestyle changes that will help at that point. But definitely if hormone replacement is recommended for you based on your levels and based on your health history. So, any history of cancers or other medical conditions that may exclude you from hormone therapy replacement at that time, your doctor will let you know. But if you're a good candidate, absolutely, it will help to reduce the symptoms. And as I said, again, safe way of replacing each hormone. Make sure you discuss that with your doctor or your health provider, and weigh your risk and benefits as with everything else. But yes, it can absolutely be a safe option for you if that's the reason why you're having those symptoms.
All right, so next question, Dr. B, is from Tanya P. So she's asking, how does menopause affect libido?
Yes, a loaded question again.
Loaded question.
So menopause, that's when your hormone levels are starting to decrease. The balance is starting to go out of optimal balance. When we talk about the individual hormones, all three of the woman hormones, the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, they do play an important part in libido and in your sex drive and lubrication. So when you talk about estrogen, decrease in estrogen definitely can lead to vaginal dryness, which is, definitely can cause problems with intimacy. Testosterone is really important, not just physically, but also mentally. Our, just keeping our mood up, which also helps keep our libido up. So definitely as that declines, the libido goes down as well. And having a good balance between progesterone and estrogen is really important. So yes, as we get older and our hormones start changing, we might feel different. Might feel like we need to use a lubricant or and it's okay. It's okay because that's what it's there for. Talking to your doctor, trying to figure out, whether it be hormone replacements or supplements or lubricants significant, and definitely having an open conversation with your spouse, with your partner.
That's true.
Because they don't know what's going on with you most of the time. And that's why we see a lot of problems in marriage too.
That's true.
So if you feel like things are changing, you don't feel the same. It's not like, and nothing has changed. Like everything else is good in the relationship, but you just don't feel that drive that you used to before. Or, when you guys being intimate, you just, things hurt or feels dry. Time to have that conversation to see what you can do to help improve your sex life.
Funny you mentioned, Dr. B, that, it's having a conversation. It is important. And I've come across a lot of female patients who their husbands have no idea that they're dealing with some of this stuff. And that's actually, that's a big no-no. I always advise my female patients, he needs to understand what you're going through because we don't know. We don't get it. So having that open conversation is important to gain the support and to be able to navigate this menopause thing, especially with regards to dealing with libido and intimacy. That's a huge part of marriage. And if it begins to falter, you want to make sure you're on top of that as quickly as possible, having the open conversation and getting the testing and doing the things needed to keep that part of the actual relationship spicy and alive.
Yeah, because the decline in male hormones typically is at a later age, typically. Than women. It happens in women first. So, even if you guys are similar in age, it happens first in the woman.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes, as Dr. G said, the male doesn't realize what's going on. And so just
no, we don't. We're like goldfish.
Open conversation.
And
they really only have the one hormone to worry about, the testosterone.
Just the one.
We've got three to balance. I mean, that's why they said we're complicated, apparently.
No comment there.
All right. Well, let's go to the next question then.
Yes.
Okay. So we have, this one is from Mike T. He says, I am in my 40s and I have tried everything for weight loss over the last 6 years and I still weigh 375 pounds. I have been able to lose 45 pounds over the last 6 months. Would surgery be a good option for me?
Loaded question. Whenever someone says they've tried everything, that's always where we kind of dive deeper into first, because you want to, if someone says they've tried everything, you want to go through a list of, okay, what exactly have you tried, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and why has it worked, and why has it not worked based on what you do. But based on what Mike is saying, I mean, going down to and losing another 45 pounds, getting to 375, I agree there is still a lot of fat mass there, Mike. I mean, I don't know your full metrics, but it is something that you may want to consider, especially if you've done the weight loss medications, you've done the proper diet, you are following a healthy lifestyle, you are doing all that. Bariatric surgery may be an option for you. And there are different options now for bariatric surgery. There's the sleeve gastrectomy, which is the most common one that we're doing right now in medicine. And it actually is a really good one because here's the trick. Most people don't realize when you have that kind of surgery, you naturally boost your own GLP-1 that your body makes just by doing the surgery. And with the sleeve gastrectomy, we don't see as many nutritional deficiencies as we saw with the old school Roux-en Y or gastric bypass. So it might be a good option for you. You definitely want to talk to your doc, see what it is, because I know for my patients, when they have to go under the knife for that kind of surgery, it does take a few months to get the approval because we put them through psychological testing. We have them see a nutritionist, talk to a therapist, kind of make sure we check all the boxes because this is a big surgery. And you want to make sure that mentally, whoever is getting the surgery is in the right place. Because the last thing you want, Mike, is to get the surgery, drop 175 pounds, get to 200, let's just say, and then over the course of the next 2 years, you gain back more than half of that weight because your mind wasn't there. So until you are at the point where I have made the commitment to a long-term healthy lifestyle, you probably don't want to waste your money or your time in trying to get this surgery. It sounds to me like you have, I mean, obviously, Mike, we don't know you, but based on what you're saying there, you've been doing the good work, So my hope is that your mindset is already there on healthy living. You're doing the good things. So yeah, you might want to talk to your doc and see if you are a candidate. Because there are different things that's going to preclude you or exclude you, from surgery. Could be other health issues you have, which we don't know. So getting that full evaluation is good. But kudos to you, my friend, for losing that weight. Keep up the good work.
And for bariatric surgery now, I know that they're becoming less invasive.
Yes.
So even the sleeve gastrectomy can actually be done endoscopically.
It can.
I think, of course, there are different criteria that would approve you for that. But even though it's, if you're a good candidate for that, it is still a big surgery in terms of the changes on your body. So you have to be ready for it. You got to be committed to making those changes for the weight loss as well too, and to keep that weight off.
And it's not uncommon, Dr. B, for patients who have gone through those surgeries to still need some level of medication support for weight loss or to keep that weight off. So it's not a one-time fix and I can do what I want. There is also the aspect of needing some level of medication support from some people to help keep that weight off because it's important. And we didn't talk criteria. If you want to have surgery or if you need to have surgery, BMI of 40 and above gets you in the door. Or BMI of 37 with weight or obesity-related conditions also gets you in the door. So whether that be high cholesterol, thyroid disease, diabetes is a big one. All those would get you in the door for that surgery based on your insurance carrier. So next one, Doc, is from Sarah D. She says, my whole family has suffered with weight issues. I'm in my 40s and I do have some excess fat I would like to get rid of, but I am worried that my genes are holding me back. Now, she meant genes in Genes, not Levi's, family genes. Is it all in our genes?
It is not all in our genes at all, but it can contribute. That being said, if let's say if you come from a family who's typically most of your family members are obese, your mom was obese when you were born, you've got some of those factors, we call it epigenetics. When you're in the womb, whatever your mom did in terms of her lifestyle factors can affect you later on. So if she ate unhealthy food, didn't exercise, etc., then some of those can put you at risk for obesity later on. But if you're very consistent with doing your part in lifestyle changes to prevent that from happening, you don't have to end up being like, in terms of, like everyone else in the family, weight-wise, fat mass-wise, etc. You could definitely be the one that is not obese in the family.
And that has also to do with who you surround yourself with. So you want to get around people who are eating healthy. So I know for a lot of us culturally, some of the foods we eat are not the healthiest. They're smothered, baked, fried, dipped, all kinds of stuff, They're lard, all these things. And that's from a cultural aspect. So if that's how the family eats, be wary because then you're around that. So you want to get around or be the one to bring that change into the family. Be the one to be doing a little bit healthier meals. Be the one to be being more physically active. Be the one to make that change because then you're going to affect your gene pool moving forward. Because like Dr. B said, epigenetics is huge in the obesity space. It is a big factor. So it's important to know that. So it's not all in your genes, Sarah. It's partially in your genes, but you're in control of typically where those genes take you.
Absolutely. Okay. Next question is from Shauna R. She says, does exercise really matter in weight loss? We've all heard calories in, calories out, but is exercise really necessary for weight loss?
So yes and no. I say yes and no just to be a little bit different. I'm teasing. So what 80% of your weight loss or your journey is through diet. So what exercise does is you're not going to lose a ton of weight exercising because, you can't out-train a bad diet. No one can. So what exercise does, it helps you either maintain what you've already lost and also builds in that resilience in your system to optimize how calories are burned, and it kind of keeps you accountable. Most people, the more they're physically active or the more they exercise, guess what? The better they feel and the better choices they make. Who hasn't been down the road where you had a bad day, right? You get home, no one rushes for the broccoli. No. You go for the Ben & Jerry's, you go for the ice cream, you go for the chocolate. No one rushes for the Brussels sprouts, But if you're in a place where you're being physically active, you're doing the things for resilience, because good exercise leads to good sleep, leads to better choices. Guess what? You're going to think twice about going down the path of picking up the high fat, high carb, high sugar, high processed food, you're going to think twice, and hopefully thinking twice means you don't make that decision. So, exercise matters, but it's not the one that everyone thinks that, okay, I'll just run on a treadmill. Because, we've all seen those memes, right? Where, 300 calories in a chocolate bar is equal to 300 calories on a treadmill, which is, let's be honest, it's tough to burn 300 calories on a treadmill. So it's not necessarily calories in, calories out. That equation is flawed. And I know I've had people tell me that, I'll just compensate, doc, by, I'll just make sure I do an extra 2-mile walk. I'm like, that's not how the body works. That's not how it works. So I'm hoping that people who hear this know that equation, calories in, calories out, is highly flawed. You just need to make consistent changes on your diet that are positive and reduce your caloric intake. You want nutrient-rich foods, not calorie-rich. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm. And exercise has so many other benefits.
Oh my gosh,
too.
yes.
So,
mental,
for cardiovascular health, for stress relief. It releases endorphins. It makes you feel happier when you exercise. It just
makes you feel good. All right, Doc. So this one's for you. I have this one for you. So this is Carmen L. is asking, the question is, my son is 13 and his doctor tells me that he needs to lose weight. I'm guessing that her son probably has a metabolic or some weight issues. Should kids be on diets or can they just grow out of it?
Well, first of all, this question has a lot in it because we're seeing so much obesity in kids now. So this is probably a very common question, in 13-year-olds where parents are wondering, do I need to start getting them aware of what's going on? Lose weight to reduce the chances of, problems, medical conditions down the line. And then the second part of the question, should kids be on diet or can they just grow out of it? First, let's take a step back here. What is the real definition of diet, Dr. G?
So, let me see. So a diet is just the food you put in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Literally, that's it.
I think over the years, the word diet has evolved to be a different definition. Mm-hmm. It's evolved to be more of something that you do for a short time. Mm-hmm. Like I'm going on a diet, so I'm going to deprive myself of these foods, because right now, I don't think that it fits into my diet. Mm-hmm. But it's something that I'm going to come back to. Let's say it's the candy or the processed food, etc. But that's not a real definition of diet. Diet is basically the types of food that you eat. Diet's usually depicted by the family that you live in, the community that you live in, the social environment, the friends that you have, and what you guys do commonly and the types of food. So yes, kids should be, if a kid is overweight or obese, it means that most likely, unless there's some kind of other, metabolic issue that's underlying that needs to be treated, more than likely that child is not eating the right foods. So taking away specific food, and not just for a short time, this is more of a lifestyle change that will help to reduce the fat mass, help to reduce the weight, help to reduce the chances of him or her developing diabetes or high cholesterol or heart disease later on. So yes, kids should be on a healthy diet.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
They should absolutely be on a healthy diet. If they're not on a healthy diet and they're obese, you can't expect that they will grow out of it.
No.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think anyone ever grows out of obesity. It's and I've heard this from a few of friends and even some patients too, that they're worried about depriving the kids of childhood pleasures, meaning like candies and cakes. And my rebuttal is, okay, there's no deprivation. You're helping them build resilience for the future. You're helping them as a parent. Your job is to guide them down a path of good health. So you're not depriving them of anything. I mean, if it's actively hurting them, if a doctor is looking you in the eye and saying, hey, can we get little Johnny to lose some weight? And then you still turn around and give him those 3 candy bars every evening or those sleeve of Oreos with milk at night, then let's be honest. I mean, you're doing little Johnny a disservice. So it's important that kids should know what's healthy. And it's it's communication, it's education. And it's not going to be easy in the beginning, but as the parent, I think our job as parents is to educate our kids and say, hey, you know what, son or daughter, depending on who it is, right? This isn't the best option for you because this will increase your risk of ABC. Or whatever the metabolic issue is, or you already have a weight issue, son. Let's focus on getting healthier alternatives. But I don't like that, and that's okay. If they don't like it, we as parents have to find ways to educate and get them to understand that this is a better option for you. Because the one thing you don't want is to not take away the, what do you call them, childhood pleasures, and then they become a young adult, and then they're stuck seeing a guy like me or a doc like Dr. B, because guess what? Now they're in their early 20s, they weigh 300 pounds, and they're wondering, how did this happen? So it is important. I think kids, we do need to, it's a huge issue. We're seeing more and more kids deal with obesity and living with it to the point where now they're getting on medications for it. When I think as parents, we just have to honestly sack up and say, hey, you can't have that right now. You can't drink 2 16-ounce bottles of soda every single day. I'm not going to give you that to go to school. Let's drink more water. Let's go for a walk as a family. And that's the thing too. A lot of families don't do things together, and that's the thing too. So if it's an issue at home, and if you as a parent you also suffer with some weight issues, make it a family thing. We're all going for our Sunday family walk, or whatever that is. Or we're going for our Sunday family bike ride, or we have a pool in the backyard. Whatever it is, make it fun, because kids in general, they like to have fun. So if we take that negative approach to it and make it more fun for them, they'll fall in line, gladly fall in line.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Carmen, that helped. If you have a doc telling you that your 13-year-old son is needing to lose weight, please heed the warning and please do right by your little boy and get him on that path to health. And if you need help as well, you talk to your doc. So that way you can make it a family thing. Because I think there's power when the whole tribe gets involved to get healthy. It's important.
Absolutely. And that way the kid knows that you're invested because you're actually doing
You're
those
doing it
things
too.
as well.
It's not just them you're preventing.
Yeah.
So basically, so don't tell them, eat your broccoli while you're having pizza. That ain't cool. Don't do that. That ain't cool.
It happens. It happens. So, but that's not what you want to expose them to.
No.
You want to get rid of the stuff around the house. Don't have one kid eating a bunch of processed food.
And little Johnny is stuck
Right.
eating steamed Brussels sprouts.
Everyone should be on a healthy diet, because more than likely, if your son has another sibling, a younger sibling, even if that sibling is not suffering from being overweight, etc., just from having some of those epigenetics related to the family, he or she has a higher chance of developing obesity later on. So putting the healthy habits in place now while she is seen as being healthy is going to help later on as they go through puberty and into early adulthood. Yeah.
And this was cool. I really like this one. It gets some really cool questions from you guys. We're gonna try and do more of these as our podcast grows. Thank you so much for giving us your questions, trusting us with the answers. Dr. B, any final thoughts you want to throw out at us?
No, I was saying that, I really enjoy reading your comments and questions, so keep them coming. We're just really happy that you guys are listening to our podcast, watching our podcast, being proactive.
Sharing it with your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell all your friends about it. Share the link with them. And we're happy to answer questions from them as well, too. So the email is amgvitalityvault@gmail.com. Send all your questions or comments there, and we will answer them during our episodes or get back right to you. But we love the engagement so far, so thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Once again, thank you for joining us on another episode of AMG Vitality Vault. We can't wait to get you guys back in the vault again for our next episode.
We'll see you later.
Take care.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Vitality Vault with Dr. B and Dr. G. Don't forget to check out our other informative episodes as the doctors dive deep into your health and wellness so you can live a more vibrant life.